So what's going on, everybody? I'm assuming if you're watching this video right now, you were just like me, contemplating on purchasing an A7IV, and probably just like me, you've spent the last few months, if not few weeks or few days, just doing a bunch of research, looking up a bunch of YouTube videos, and trying to figure out if you should purchase an A7IV. And after several weeks of contemplation, I went ahead and did it. I finally purchased an A7IV. I haven't put a little mount on it. So I've only had the camera for a few weeks now, and so far I really like it. But I just wanted to make a video and go over a few of the things that I noticed weren't really touched upon when I was looking through a lot of these YouTube videos and doing a lot of this research. And I'm hoping that some of this information will help you guys determine if this camera is right for you, and maybe even give you some information about things you didn't know were possible with the A7IV. Well, first of all, recording at 4K or HD at 10-bit has been truly phenomenal. It's amazing how much dynamic range I have to play with now, especially when I put it into Premiere Pro and I start editing it and realize I have a little bit more leeway to play with. And personally, it's a game changer. So I think number one, that's the biggest change of all, especially for someone who's a hybrid shooter. And the second thing I noticed that makes this camera a lot more convenient is its light. So the A7 III had like this more metal, heavier feel to it, but the A7 IV is really light. And I don't know, maybe some people are going to find it flimsy. Some people aren't really going to like that it feels lighter, but I do. It has this nice big old grip on it. So I feel like I have a nice grip on it even when I don't have a cage on it. The lightweightness helps, especially if you do any gimbal work, or if you're hiking, or if you're doing something where you're constantly holding the camera all the time. Because as you all know, once you start putting on some of these bigger lenses or heavier lenses, it starts weighing down the camera. So having a lighter body is a giant plus. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is the flip screen. Now, I don't think any Canon users are awed by the flip screen per se. I think it's a Sony thing, because if you own an A7 III or anything older than that, all you Sony people know the pain of having a little tilt screen. It's great if you're behind the camera, but if you want to see yourself or structure a shot, you have to do what I'm doing right now, which is hook up a monitor and hope that you're in frame. And it can be a pain in the ass sometimes, like when you don't want to put a bunch of gear on and you just want to pack light. So the flip screen for me is a game changer. It helps especially when I need an angle pointing up really high and I need to see the screen from a really low angle. And if I'm shooting down really low and I want to see something, I can tilt the screen down now and see what I'm doing. So as corny as it is, the flip screen to me has been phenomenal, and now I know what it's like to be a Canon user. The next thing I wanted to really talk about is the batteries. It's great that Sony's still stuck with the same batteries. A lot of the times the vendor is going to have you change batteries and buy into a whole new ecosystem. So it's nice that Sony just stuck with the same batteries. I get a good 1 hour to 2 hours of shooting on the camera, depending if I buy a Sony or a third-party one. And even the third-party ones, which are the Wasabis that I shoot on, and if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But my Sonys and Wasabi batteries that I buy to use with the body have been all interchangeable and work flawlessly, same as usual. So it's nice not having to reinvest into the ecosystem. The next thing I wanted to talk about that I think is a great plus, but a lot of people have been a little bit iffy on, is the amount of customization. It's insane how much customizing you can do. Every one of these little knobs, you can assign a different function. It doesn't have to be what came in the factory default. You could change it all within the submenus. I think that's a great thing. To a lot of people, they might find it overwhelming, but I like being able to customize all my menus, so that way when I'm, running and gunning, I don't have to waste time going through all the submenus anymore. I could just change them right on the fly. So customization is totally a plus for me. So the next piece that I find extremely helpful is being able to use this as a webcam. If you're on the go somewhere and you need to do a quick call with somebody real quick, or you just want to flex, right? And you just want to show off how crisp and clear your webcam is compared to everybody else's, this is a flex. And it's just cool. Like, you just plug it in, click OK on the webcam mode, and you got a webcam. So I think that's a really cool plus. And now the next piece that I find really convenient, that all Sony enthusiasts are going to find extremely convenient, is the flaps. The flaps no longer jingle. Like, listen to that. It no longer jingles. My A7 III jingles everywhere I walk. I freaking hate it. Sometimes I duct tape it, or I put a little bit of masking tape on my A7 III just to stop the dingling, even on the A6400 as well. And it's nice that these are just solid now. So they just stay in place. You can fold them up and keep them up, and they don't get in the way anymore. And the next piece I really appreciate are these slots. They all just open out and stick out now. Anyone who shoots on the older Sony cameras will know the pain of these little slots when you pop them out and they just freaking dangle over it, just like the OG dangles up there. And it is amazing that Sony has finally just put in a little bit of a fix like this, where when you crack the door open, it stays there. And another big part that I wanted to talk about was the sensor cover. So I used to be extremely insecure about taking lenses off, just because you're completely exposing the sensor. So it's nice that Sony now has this function where you could turn on the electronic shutter to close up and cover the sensor so it doesn't get any dust or it doesn't get damaged. Now, that doesn't mean you should not put a lid to cover up your sensor, because it's still the e-shutter. So you could bust it up pretty good if you drop it, or I don't know, start poking in there for some dumb reason. So it's nice to have this e-shutter that closes down and covers it up. So with all the good stuff being said, I did want to go over a few things that I found were to be a bit different. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is this remote. So the A7IV removed the infrared sensor, so the remote no longer works with it. That's a big downer for me, just again because I'm so used to using it on the A64 and A7 III, but I think you could wirelessly control it now. I'm not the biggest fan of using wireless controls because I feel like I have too many apps, but that's just me being OCD. But yeah, the remote function is gone unless they drop a new one or they give you an option to purchase a new one. The next part for me is the CF Express Type A cards. And I don't know if you guys did any Googling or any Amazoning, but those cards run for about $300 a pop. That's it. That's the price of an SSD. So right now I've been getting away with it by just shooting on an UHS-2 SD card, and I can still get 4K 10-bit, HD 10-bit. It still shoots all in there. It's not the highest format, but it works, and it still looks crisp, and it still keeps a lot of that dynamic range, so I haven't had any complaints so far. But keep that in mind, if you do want to shoot at the highest format, you will need a CF Express Type A card. So with all that being said, I couldn't really find things that I don't like about this camera. The overheating was the most alarming, and the price tag in the CF Express Type A card was the most alarming parts for me. But all the other stuff, in my opinion, are just nitpicky. I think we live in an age where the cameras have just gotten better and better and better, and you can't really go wrong with a lot of these cameras that you're buying now. And if you pick up an A7 IV, I don't think you'll be disappointed. With all that being said, I hope you found the video useful. If you've discovered any other quips or any of the quirks that this camera can do that I did not list out, please put in the comment below. I'm still learning this camera as well and trying to figure out all the little hidden gems that it has packed inside of it. I really love this camera so far. I find myself picking up this camera and just taking it wherever I go. I just feel motivated to shoot stuff. So for any one of you who are looking to purchase one, I think it's worth the purchase. So yes, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found the video helpful at all, please hit like, leave some comments below, hit subscribe, and the heck. And if you're looking to purchase an A7 IV or any of my gear that I'm using on the regular basis, please use the affiliate links below in the description and help me out. It'll help pay some bills and put out some more content. So yeah, until next time, this is Falling. Peace.